Hello and welcome to Scalemodeling, and welcome to part 14 of our MiniArt Lee M3 Lee tank build. So in the last video we finished up the inside of the turret here, and we got all that done with all the ammunition mounted on the side there. They're painted up. Everything in there is the flat white that it's going to be. I did, if you can see it, there's a bit of a gear chain that this rotates along, and I've done that in a metallic or a dark metal color just to make it stand out a little bit, but otherwise everything else is staying that white. Okay, and now what we're doing is moving on, that'll go aside for a while, to work on this part here, okay, which is this tub. And I'm going to try and get this camera to focus better. Just bear with me for a second. There we go, that's much better. So we're going to start on this step 97. Okay, that's where we're up to. Now what I found is that a lot of this again is going to be the interior color, which is that flat white, except for, like before, these shells, which will be done in the same color as the last ones we did up here, okay, which was using the brass and the olive drab. So they will all be done separately and put in afterwards. Okay. The few things that are number one, which is the paint color, which is the white, there's a couple of things that may be able to go in, or I can just paint them separately. But basically I want to paint all this inside the white before putting any of this in. There's also a fire extinguisher to go in there. We've got a couple of seats that go in there, including one here that looks like it's folded up. And they are all, well, they're actually number 2 in the paint. So that means have a quick look. They're black. All right. So there's something that'll have to be put in after everything else is painted. There's a piece down on the bottom there that's white. It does have a small little piece on the end that's going to be black. Not a problem. I can touch that up. Moving on, we've got this part in the next step, which is like a wall section that goes down in the back there. There's a zoomed in view of that piece with all the parts attaching to it, and everything in that is white except for one other little black handle down there, which again can be just hand touch painted with a brush. So these will all be put together and put aside, and then we've got this ring that the whole turret rotates around that's going to sit on here. And as you can see, that's also white. So that's also going to be painted. Now we've also got a lot of bits and pieces here. Step 101, 102. And all of those parts are white, so they can all be put together first and then painted. And then I'm wondering where they actually go. Let me just quick. Okay, so when we go over the page, and I don't want to get too far ahead, but these are these parts that are going to go sit down after that ring's attached. And like I said, though, they're white. Although there's a piece there, there's a wheel there that is black. But again, not a problem, that can be touched up. All right, so having said all of that, here's all our parts that need to be done white. So there's the tub, I'll call it. That's the ring that's going to be sitting on here. And this part here will be sitting in there. And it has some parts to go onto it, which I haven't taken off yet. One interesting thing I found was this little bracket here. Now on the instructions, it's this part here. It just bridges that gap across there. It's also going to be the white, so not a problem. But the unusual thing I found about it is, compared to every other piece on every sprue of this entire MiniArt kit, and I can honestly tell you, every MiniArt kit I have built, which is not a great deal, all right? You probably count them on one hand. I have never come across a part with plastic sprue on there like that. So look at that. So that's that piece there. So all of that there is just excess plastic that we need to trim off. And there's a bit along there that's excess as well. If I angle it, you'll see. So that all has to be tidied up. That all has to come off. And but that's the first time I've seen MiniArt with that. So good on you, MiniArt. Like you know, that's amazing. But yeah, that just stood out. I thought I didn't even. I'm thinking that doesn't look like the piece on the instructions. But of course, that's all got to be all cut away. So there you go. All right. Well, what I'm going to do now is basically what I said I'm going to do is I'm going to attach. I've cleaned up most of these, obviously, except for that. I'm going to get the pieces that go on here because they're all white and they can be attached before I paint them. And then I'll double check everything, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Anything else that goes in here or on here is going to be can be done separately. All right, and put on. All right, so I'll get on to that, and we'll be back with a bit more progress shortly. Hey, welcome back. So what I've done is I'm getting all these parts ready to paint. Now you'll see that one there has those little boxes, all going to be white, so I've glued those in place, so I might as well paint them on there. What I'm also going to do is paint the shell casings, which come in the racks, so they're not separate, which makes it a little bit easier. So I'm going to do all that, including the seats and the backs of the seats. I'm going to do all these white on the sprue. All right, just the undercoat and the actual base color, and then touch up if I have to wherever I'm removing them from the sprue. And then of course these little pieces here, boy was that a nightmare to put together. Yeah, there's about 6 parts to that. It's some of the weirdest angles. The instructions are no help whatsoever. I hope I got it right. I'm fairly sure I have. They actually sit on the ring here. They sit almost next to each other on that ring. So they will all be white as well. So I'm going to go put some primer on all this now, let it dry. And then we'll look at some putting some color as well, like the white for inside, and both inside and outside of that will be white. The shell casings will be the same as the last ones were. There was a bit of olive drab involved, and the brass, which I use gold leaf for. All right, I'll be back in a second. We'll have another look at it. Okay, we're back, and while those parts were drying, I thought I'd start on the next part here, which is the top of the turret. So we've got this little piece here, which will sit. Well, that part will sit inside there like that. Okay, and this will sit on the top of the tank, as in, we get this piece out here. It's going to sit up there, basically. All right, with that going in there. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to glue that, so this will be removable, and we can have a look inside and see down in there. So I'll won't glue that onto there, but I will glue it to this. Okay, so that will get glued to that. That piece in the center is just a bit of sprue that needs to be removed, but it's useful for holding stuff, holding things for painting. So when that's going to go on there, so then there's that. Now we've got the option here of having this open or closed. I've decided, since everything else is closed, I'm going to have that closed. So I've test fitted it. These pieces will sit. Anyway, trust me, they'll sit on there and they fit really well. On the inside of here, now remember that this can be removed, so we can actually display and show inside of here. So I'm not going to skip on any detail, but we've got, as you can see here, a couple of little bits of photo etch, which will go on either side, a bit of a grill sort of thing. And then we've got these 2 parts which will sit in there as well, but they are black. Okay, they're whites on the tip, but they're black mostly. Okay, so I'll get to paint all that first, and then I'll probably hand paint them black and then put them on after everything's painted. All right, and here's the gun, which is like this, and that will be sitting pretty much on the inside, but in there. Okay, it's going to come out through the hole right there, I think. Just have to, yeah, yeah. That's gonna sit up in there and stick out there. Okay. All right. All right. So that's all that done. Now the other parts I've painted them up already, and they're not dry. I've only done it about 10 minutes ago. We'll move those to the side and bring these in. Okay. So here we go. So they've been primed in grey and then done in the white. So there's that tub done. It's all done white all the way around. I will have to do underneath where I've got some blue tack holding it. I'll just have to touch that up once it's dry and I can remove that. So that's that. There's that side bit that goes on here. Sorry, you can see that in the camera there. Just got to be careful I don't lose any parts there. Okay, so those pieces are on in there, and there is a little black piece to go on that, which I'll be able to do once this is dried. And that's done. There's also this piece which sat in there as well. And then we've got the ring that's drying. And of course the shells and the racks are all done. I've done them in white, but we'll be going over them with the brush to get the gold on it, or the brass look, and then the olive drab to touch up all those, and then I'll take them off the sprue. And we've also got the seats in there which have a little bit of black on them. So like I said, that's all drying. And of course there's all these, I'll move that out of the way, hang on. That's all that was a tough part to build these, just because the instructions were difficult to follow. They sit on that rim on the top. And there's actually, I'll show you in the instructions here, wrap this across. Here it is here. Sorry about the glare. So they're the pieces in there on the rim. That's where they are. That's where they go. But they've actually got these little bits of like fuel line, not fuel lines, but fluid lines of some sort that have got to go on there, but they're not supplied. Okay, they've got that little star. So you need some really tiny thin tubing, and I don't have any. I had a look at some of my motorbike model that I built earlier. I have some leftover brake line and stuff for that, but they're too big diameter. So I'll have a look around, see if otherwise I'll just have to leave those off. But you need something extremely small. I mean, you know, look at them on the photo. Look at the pieces. Really tiny pieces to connect onto those. But anyway, it's all part of that finer detail, isn't it? So where we're at now, we're over the previous page. All of this, or most of this, is all done. And we've got all this finishing off now, and I'll be able to put all those parts in when I've painted them, hand painted all the ammunition and the seat. There's two more pieces there I haven't even taken off the sprue yet, and they're to be done in the olive drab, so we'll do them as well. And then that goes down to all this, to this, and it finishes up with those pieces going on and there. And then this is where I've started with that machine gun. So all that's being put together, and there's those two hatches with the open or closed versions of them, and a couple more pieces to go in there, including some clear parts. There is some clear parts. I think that's it, one of them there. Yeah, which will have to be done right at the very end after everything's painted, of course, because you know that's going to be external, which will all be the green olive drab. Okay, so lots of progress, and I'll come back when we've got a little bit more color and a little bit more detail done. Okay, back shortly. Hey, welcome back again. So I've got all these parts all painted up. There's those two little boxes that need to be done in olive drab. All the ammunition shells are all done and painted. The seats ready to go in, including the black outline around the base and the backs. So they're all good. These are all ready, painted up. Just had to touch up a little bit where I had the blue tack holding them, so they're looking good. So all I've got to do now is basically put all this in there, and there's a couple of tiny little bits as well, like there's a handle to go on something and a little piece on there, I think, but all good. So next time we come back and have a look, this should be done. All the parts should be in there. I haven't done the fire extinguisher yet. Somehow I've missed that. I'll have to take that off the sprue and get that one sorted out as well. But basically I'll come back when it's all in there and we'll see how it looks. All right, and that'll be before anything is clear coated, because of course we got to do all the weathering of those parts as well. Okay, all right, I shall be back again shortly. Okay, back again, and got a lot done, as you can see here. So I've done all the interior there. We've got all the ammunition shells mounted on the walls there, looking really good. We've got our seats in. We've got our boxes on the floor. We've got this seat sitting here, which was a little bit tricky to work out the angle. I think I've got that right. I only just glued that in, so probably not 100% stable. We've got this done, so our gun is glued in, and we've got a little piece on the side done there. So they're all painted, and that's all complete, pretty much. I was going to paint this is going to be gunmetal, but there's no point. That'll be touched up with a brush after I've done all the exterior with the olive drab. There is a tiny little clear piece to go in the bottom of there later, because like I said, I won't be gluing this down onto the top of the tank, so you'll be able to lift this off and see it. So it's come up all right. This part here is the wall that goes on in front of the seat here. So that is going to just pretty much sit something like that. All right. It won't sit in there, but that's where that's going to go. All right. And then across there will be this piece. That will go across there. And then it's just a matter of taking these struts off here and putting this down on the top. So yeah, it's come up really well. I'm really happy with the way that looks. It's going to look fantastic once I got it all clear coated and then dirty it all up a bit. Not too much, but just that little bit, just to give it that, you know, that little bit of realisticness. I don't know if that's a word or not. So yeah, fantastic. These pieces, there's no detail on them. They're just all white, and they'll be mounted on these, and that's it. Now, what I was looking at, and I'll just move this out of the way and show you as I zoom back out again. Okay, so going by the instructions, we got quite a lot we can mark off now. And actually, I caught myself out by surprise. But anyway, we'll get to that. So all this 92, 93, 94, 95, all those steps are done. There is just some little spots of glass that need to be put on. And then I'll have to go through and double check. There's a couple of things that I haven't marked off, so I'm not 100% sure I've done. Although I think I have done that bit. But I need to double check everything. We go over the page, and we've done all that. I've done all that. I had to cross it all off as I go because there's just so much happening there. This is going to be glued on shortly, so we'll have that done. This is all put together, which is that. And then it's those two little parts that go on this ring after it gets put down. There's that little piece that gaps across there. And then that ring goes on top. We go over the page, and that's where those two little parts go. There's a piece I already now realise I haven't included. So there's a little wheel that goes on there, and being number 2, that's going to be black. So it looks like I could get that. I'll get that piece ready to go as well. Here's the pole for that seat that's in the center, and that's all done. That's gone into there. Here's the bits I told you that are not included, the tubing. To be honest, I haven't looked for anything yet. I'll have another look, but I really doubt I have anything small enough for that. Then of course there's all this machine gun that's all been done. It's all on there. And then the top of the turret with the hatches, we've done that in the closed position. And we got this part on the side, all the way step to 110. And when I turned over the page, look at that. The last steps are simply just putting them on, putting all that in there. So I was expecting there'd be more. I'm sure I've got more parts on the sprue. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. All right, now mind you, the tracks aren't done yet. Yes, the nightmare tracks aren't done yet. But anyway, that's going to be amongst the final things we'll do. Okay, so I'm going to finish up the video here. And so when you come back on the next video, you'll see all this put together. You'll see that all this will be completed. And it will probably be, yeah, definitely time to get back onto the tracks. And then I'll do a double check. We'll do that in the next video. Make sure we haven't missed anything. Yeah. I'm just trying to think right now whether I could do any painting without the tracks on. Yeah, we'll figure that out. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Give us a thumbs up. Your comments are welcome below. Don't forget our Facebook group. You're welcome to join on that. I'll put the link in the description. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, which will be part, where are we at now? Part 15, I'm fairly sure. All right, thanks. See you then. Bye for now.